It has been a week of dramatic and fast-paced developments that have included a debate around a caste census, the arrest of an Aam Aadmi Party politician, and raids on a digital platform. It's a week when it's time to ask, in the Modi versus opposition battle, what's up, what's down, who's up, who's down? I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story. We're looking today at the political mood ahead of the big assembly elections as well as the national elections. Like I said, it's been a week of dramatic developments. It's been a week of volatile politics. The Bihar government, on the one hand, released the findings of a caste census. On the other hand, the Aam Aadmi Party faced another blow as Sanjay Singh was arrested in connection with the Delhi liquor scam. In the midst of all of this, there were raids and the arrest of the promoter of the digital platform NewsClick on the charges of being funded by Chinese entities and being part of a Chinese propaganda project, allegations that the platform has denied. On this special broadcast today, we'll be looking at the politics of it all. In the Modi versus India alliance battle, how are things stacking up? Is there an X factor that is emerging? Is the caste census going to be a big factor, or is corruption going to be a big factor? And in the end, does the personality factor trump all factors? The Modi versus who question remains alive and open. Let's introduce our panel today as we look at all of these big pressing political questions. Shehzad Poonawalla, senior leader of the BJP, is with us. It's good to see you, Shehzad. Also joining us from the Congress is Salman, its spokesperson and leader. Good to see you, Salman. Also joining us is political analyst PKD Nambiar, and also joining us is senior editor and journalist Rahul. It's good to see all of you. And Shehzad, let me start by asking you about the arrest of the Aam Aadmi Party leader Sanjay Singh in a broader context, without getting into the context of the Delhi liquor scam, because this is a national debate. My question is something I've asked you often before. The data that has been put into the public domain by the Indian Express suggests a targeting or a greater targeting of opposition politicians compared to anybody else under the NDA. You've seen this data. We see 54% cases against the opposition by the ED in the UPA compared to 95%, as it were, under the NDA. Similar sort of gaps emerging for the CBI figures. You've seen these numbers. You've been asked about them often enough, but I think today is a good context to ask you whether the Enforcement Directorate, which has been called a joke, by the way, by the Aam Aadmi Party, is being used as a weapon of mass elimination by the government against the opposition. Shehzad, go ahead.
First of all, thank you, Barkha, for having me. And the entire contention was put by 14 political parties. This exact same contention that the ED, the CBI hounds us before the Honorable Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court denied them any kind of relief in that matter. Now, unless they have stopped believing in the Supreme Court, I think that they went there, argued the entire same case. Let me just give you a couple of facts. Out of the 25 cases that went to trial of the ED, 24 secured convictions. That's above 90% conviction rate. Also, let me tell you that earlier the ED used to manage to attach only about 5,000 crores worth of property. Today it is 1 lakh crore. Is the contention that all of this action only pertains to politicians? Certainly not. It pertains to everybody who's violating the PMLA or other laws, and the ED is doing its job effectively. The problem with the Congress is, and the hypocrisy of the Congress is, that the agencies that they use as a cage parrot, and the Supreme Court said that, no courts are calling these agencies that today. The fact is that many of these cases, for instance, Lalu Prasad Yadav's case, it started during the Congress government, and the first conviction was secured in the UPA regime. Now, there is a conviction in Lalu Prasad Yadav's case. Can I ask Salman Soos, can he as a congressman say that Lalu is a convicted corrupt person? Forget that. That's too difficult for him. The current case of Sanjay Singh, the Congress party put up posters all across Delhi, and I live in Delhi. They put up posters all across Delhi saying that we expose the Sharab Ghotala. Today, I want to know from Salman Soos that is he saying that this is vindictive politics? Then is he contradicting Ajay Makan, Anil Chaudhary, Alka Lamba, and other leaders of the Congress party? Or are they standing with that? And third point, in Chhattisgarh, where they have a government, Congress has a government, Bhupesh Baghel government, the ED uncovered a 2,000 crore liquor scam even there. The Aam Aadmi Party did a press conference, and I can show it to you, saying that the ED must arrest Bhupesh Baghel and interrogate him. Now, how is it that when the ED does karwai on Congress, it is chamatkar, and when it is done on Aam Aadmi Party, it is gunegan? That's why Congress has not appeared on any discussions last evening. They were invited on multiple television shows. I'm sorry, my dear friend Salman also had to sit it out last evening. None of the Congress participants participated. I'm glad that he's participating in your debate.
Before I go to Salman Soz, let me ask Shehzad one question. You're right in saying that the Enforcement Directorate has said that its conviction rate is actually above 95%. But you're also right in saying that only 25 cases have completed trial, in which 24 have secured convictions. Fair enough. But the Supreme Court just yesterday, Shehzad, you would have seen that case, laid down guidelines for how the Enforcement Directorate should behave when it's arresting someone. They said the ED should not be vindictive. The ED must furnish grounds for arrest before it arrests someone. So somewhere the Supreme Court is also cautioning the ED that you have to tell the person why he or she is being arrested.
You're absolutely right. Every agency has to follow the ambit of the rule of law and work under the constitutional precept that has been provided. But having said that, the Supreme Court is live and kicking. Now, the same Supreme Court has denied relief to Manish Sisodia. Manish Sisodia has gone to multiple levels of court, and Manish Sisodia has been in jail since March 2023. So now, please tell me that when you have full faith in the Supreme Court, why hasn't the Supreme Court given you relief in this case? The same Supreme Court denied quashing of the case in the National Herald matter against Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi and said that you will have to face trial. Why don't you accept the Supreme Court's version then? The same Supreme Court has, in a large number of cases where the matter has gone right up to the court, the highest court, has denied bail. And even in Sanjay Singh's case, because somebody was trying to allude that he has also been arrested without any just cause, he has been granted remand of 7 days by a court. That is in the Purka case. He'll be put forward in front of a court, and the court will grant him remand if it feels there is material enough. So why are we now jumping the gun and saying that every interrogation or every action of the ED needs to be brought under a certain kind of microscope when the Supreme Court does not agree with you?
Okay, let's open this up now. Salman Soz, the data is before you, and the Enforcement Directorate recently said that only 3%, in fact, less than 3% cases are actually against incumbent or former politicians. So there's an overstatement of this fact that opposition politicians are being targeted. Also, Shehzad makes the point that 24 of those 25 cases did secure convictions. So if the cases were so weak, why would they have secured convictions? In any case, this show is not just about the Enforcement Directorate, but it is, since the ED is repeatedly brought up by the opposition alliance, I think it's fair to start with that. Also, Shehzad's point that the Congress in particular remains conflicted on how much to support the Aam Aadmi Party, and to that extent, there are some cracks, even if not always visible, in the opposition alliance. Go ahead, Salman. Salman, can you unmute yourself at your end, please? You've muted yourself. Yeah.
I want to put this in a broader context, but this whole notion that you put the data out there, the people who are watching this show and people sitting at home, they understand what is going on in this country. So this disproportionate targeting of opposition, is to me not surprising, and everybody can understand what's going on. There's a bigger churn in the country's politics, and that is what is driving a lot of this right now. But let me just, before I get to that, let me just say something about how the BJP is targeting some people too. For example, in November, December of 2014, the CBI raided Himanta Biswa Sarma, and now he joined the BJP a few months after that, and now he's the chief minister. In 2014, a BJP leader, senior leader of Maharashtra, exposed what he called a scam and basically accused Ajit Pawar in a 70,000 crore scam. And sure enough, now, he was basically, in 2023 April, ED filed charges, and he is now the deputy chief minister. He's now friends with the same man, Devendra Fadnavis. And then, of course, we've heard about Mukul Roy in TMC, who's basically, now sometimes sitting in TMC, sometimes in BJP. And this laundry detergent that BJP applies to everyone, this washing machine in BJP, I think people have understood it. But this party is, to my mind, the most corrupt party that I can think of in independent India. If Mr. Modi was truly after corruption and transparency in public life, he would tell us that in the last 3 years, PM Cares Fund received 535 crore rupees in donations from foreign countries. Who are these? Who's funding PM Cares? In the last 5 years, BJP received through electoral bonds 3 times more money than all of the opposition combined. If he's such an anti-corruption zealot, if he's so much into transparency, why don't we disclose who these people are? Who are they funding? Why are they funding BJP so much? What are they getting in return?
I think Shehzad is trying to show us someone or something, but I'll let Salman finish his comment.
Shehzad,
yes.
I will tell you this. I know you have this thing. It's this gimmickry of yours. You know, in every show you'll go, and I can do that too, Shehzad. Stop being a child. Don't behave like a child.
Okay. Let's talk on the issues. He's allowed to use his instruments of political communication.
This is a way for Shehzad to distract people, because this guy was in the BJP. He was admitted to the BJP, was he not? Was he Doodh ka Dula at that time? So, Shehzad, if you do this, I will not let you speak in the show.
Okay, guys. May I request both of you? Shehzad, you made your point. Okay. 1 minute. Everyone calm down.
There is no
Salman, complete your point.
Barkha, I will not let him speak then. If he does,
don't do that. Don't do that to each other.
He's joined BJP at a time when the BJP is going down. They're losing 5 elections, Barkha.
Okay.
This thing is about India Alliance. This thing is about, wait a second. This thing is about the India Alliance basically taking the fight to Mr. Modi like he never imagined.
May I ask you to complete your point on the PM Cares? And Shehzad, I'm coming to you right after that. In your own reply, you can hold up the mobile phone screenshot that you are. I'm just going to allow Salman to complete his point briefly, and then I'm coming to you, Shehzad, and then the others are waiting. Salman, go ahead.
The point is, if these people are after corrupt elements in this country, why are they making them chief ministers and deputy chief ministers? Isn't that something, that is what people have understood. People know that Mr. Modi talks a big game about all this stuff, but he's in bed with all the corrupt elements that they go after. That is the reality. And by the way, all of this, you'll see, not just Mr. Sanjay Singh, you'll see all sorts of leaders all sorts of people are going to be targeted. But the kind of raids that we've seen against journalists, I mean, this is incredible. And next time when the World Freedom Index rankings come out and India goes down further, they'll say, we don't believe this.
Okay. So lots of different, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I want Shehzad to briefly respond because Rahul and PKD are waiting. And Shehzad, let me tag a question of my own. The allegation that somebody crosses sides and they suddenly become acceptable, whether it's Ajit Pawar, targeted earlier for allegations around an irrigation scam, or a Himanta Biswa, now the chief minister and a much beloved sort of leader of the BJP, those are valid questions. Lack of transparency alleged by Salman Soz when it comes to electoral bonds and the funding that is coming to the BJP. I want you to respond to that. And you're free in your own answers, of course, to put up whatever screenshots you want to. So do go ahead.
Barkha, first of all, I never spoke in the middle. I was just putting out a piece of evidence which was pertinent.
Oh, now he's doing the same thing. And we will not be able to...
But he's free to. Why are you stopping him? He can put out whatever he wants as long as he's not interrupting.
Okay, Salman, you made your point. Now let him respond.
Let him
Salman,
do it. Irrespective of what he's showing, let him continue. He should not have a meltdown. Now let me bring the facts on the table.
Salman point made. Now let's listen. Shehzad, go ahead. Okay.
First of all, Barkha, because he cited Mukul Roy, I was showing a news item of 2019 when Mukul Roy was in the BJP and despite being the vice president of the BJP, was subjected to grilling by the CBI. This is the difference. No investigation stopped, but the same Mukul Roy has now joined the TMC, and the TMC is an alliance and in bed with them. Lalu Prasad Yadav is convicted 4 times. Forget charge on somebody not there here. Himanta Biswa Sarma has no charges on him. A PIL was filed in 2018 against Himanta Biswa Sarma on exactly all these allegations and he got a clean sheet from the High Court. But I am saying that there is a conviction against Lalu and he is with them. They have called Aam Aadmi Party corrupt in the liquor scam, not us. And Aam Aadmi Party has called Sonia Gandhi so corrupt that she should be sent to jail. You remember the 14, 15 people list he used to move? Now let's move on from that topic, because I don't think Salman can talk about corruption. It's like the devil preaching scriptures. Now the second point about journalists. Salman, you and your party should be the last party lecturing anybody about press freedom. Arnab Goswami, Nilesh Shinde, Kamal Shukla arrested because you did not like the journalism they did. Kamal Shukla was charged with sedition. In Trinamool Congress run West Bengal, Mr. Bakshi from ABP has been picked up because he reported on Hooch tragedy. In DMK-led Tamil Nadu, you have filed a case against Abhijit Majumdar for calling out Udayanidhi's talent. In Kerala, Matrubhumi journalists, Asianet journalists have been hounded, and Govindan, the state secretary of CPIM, says, if you publish anything anti-government, we will arrest you. Those who are the children of emergency and brought in the Bihar press bill and the anti-defamation law should be the last people lecturing us. That's the point. The point here is on the. But do you want me to elaborate on the NewsClick?
No. Can we just give the others a chance to speak with deference to the politicians? Yes. Okay. Rahul, I think since journalism has been stoked, we were talking about this yesterday, but I'm going to bring you in not only on NewsClick, because this show is not about that. This show is about the larger politics that is unfolding. I see some patterns here. The patterns I see is there's a caste move to quell the Hindutva move. The BJP is also putting corruption back in the domain of especially a party that was birthed from an anti-corruption movement. It's seeking to expose the contradictions in especially the AAP and the Congress attempts to come onto the same side. And on journalism, of course, every politician historically, if he or she can, will seek to control journalists. But I'm going to let you, as the senior journalist on this panel, respond to some of the points that have been raised.
We have discussed the journalist issue yesterday, Barkha, so there's no point repeating it, except that I'll say what I said briefly, what I said yesterday. We are all deeply concerned about the threats to and challenges to press freedom. We know India's ranking in the press freedom, global press freedom rankings and index is steadily going down for the last several years. And today we stand at 161 out of 180. And this is a trend, not just single years ranking. So we know the world is also looking at us, and people understand. People in the country also understand, and outside also understand. And I would also add that no party, no state government, and I don't know any chief minister in the recent past who cannot be accused of trying to suppress and threaten the press in their own domains and own states. So no single party can be singled out. But
and you also made the point, for the record, for those who may not have seen your show yesterday with us, that you didn't agree with the terror law being invoked, but you were not comfortable with the China funding at the heart of NewsClick. I just wanted to put on record your complete position. But go on. Go on. Yeah.
So no matter which government, which party is in power, where at the center or the state, the press will always remain a whipping boy and sort of a scapegoat and a force that everyone wants to suppress and mold to its own use. So that's a constant threat and challenge we face, and we'll continue to face it. While at the same time looking within ourselves also and accepting where we have gone wrong and not hold ourselves as holier than thou.
Yeah.
Now, the question of politics. I think the single biggest issue since third, that is before yesterday, is now the caste survey and the newer caste equations that are going to emerge nationally as well as in all states. This has already changed the complexion of the fight for Lok Sabha elections, as well as the assembly elections that are going to be held sooner than that. So now the empowerment of the backward classes, including most backwards MBCs and BCs, is going to be I would say, the mainstay of opposition politics. BJP, we know, has successfully got a lot of MBC caste towards itself and brought them inside its own sphere. But now we are going to see a completely new equations emerging. Smaller castes lower down the line, who have emerged as numerically much stronger than earlier expected and known, are going to demand their pound of flesh.
Do you believe it to be? Do you believe to be something that can change the game? Because actually, data shows you, Rahul, briefly, because I have to go to PKD and come back to our political guests. Data shows you that in the Lok Sabha elections, the BJP does quite well now with OBC voters.
I said that the BJP has successfully brought the MBCs and section of the BCs towards itself. So it's going to be a competition for the votes of this section, including the STs, the SCs, OBCs, and most backward classes. So it's going to change a whole lot of things. So let me end here.
Yeah, let me add PKD now, who's been waiting a while. Go ahead, PKD. What's the biggest political story this week, according to you? Would you agree that it's the caste census by Bihar, or do you see something else?
Caste census is definitely something which is really a disturbing thing. This was in the pipeline from the last couple of years in the minds of Nitish Kumar or the many other people. But Congress, a party like Congress, is supporting it and now asking for that to happen everywhere, and it's happening in Karnataka and etc. is a worrisome. For me, why, I'll tell you. All our spiritual gurus, whether it is Vivekananda to Shankaracharya to all our spiritual gurus, are always said that they wanted to, they envisaged as casteless society. So as our makers of our constitution. But suddenly, after 75 years later, the political class, especially the opposition parties, now wanted further to divide the Hindu society. That is the only way they can come back to the power. I think that is really worrisome. And then a party like a Congress, which takes this issue as one of the prime issue now, because they don't have anything much to talk about. They can only talk about, as my friend from the Congress said, that okay, the ED is used, the CBI is used. But I'm even surprised with the fact that, Barkha, that earlier people used to say that people go and do the strike all across, even in Bengal or Punjab or anywhere else. Is that to why the governments are not acting against the corrupt people? When today, when the corrupt people have been questioned, they have been arrested, they have been charged with corruption cases, why are we just worrying and just making it as a political vendetta? I don't think so. I also believe that this washing machine concept, that it's very boring. It's been used multiple times, and people have exposed this washing machine thought process multiple times in multiple places. I may have done many shows on those washing machine concepts. I think it's very boring. People who have done something wrong needs to be brought to book, and that is in the interest of the country. It is not just in the interest of a political party or against a political party.
Right.
Those who have been. Have you ever seen that AK Anthony was charged with any case ever? Have you ever seen?
Okay, fair enough. Let me though ask you, PKD, before I go to Shehzad, and I really do want to spend a couple of minutes talking about the caste census and the BJP's response to it. But I agree, anyone who's corrupt should be investigated and punished by due process. But it's difficult to believe that only opposition leaders are corrupt. That's the only point that the media sometimes raises, right, PKD?
May I ask, Mr. Source, is there in this from the Congress, or even for that matter, anybody else? The people, if a BJP man or a BJP leader is corrupt, why the Congress is not there on the street? Why the Congress is not able to place it on the record? Why Congress is not taking any judicial action or even approaching any court?
Let me ask Salman Soz a different question. I asked Shehzad about Ajit Pawar. I'm going to ask both of you one question each. Salman Soz, do you believe Sanjay Singh is corrupt? And Shehzad Poonawalla, do you believe Ajit Pawar is corrupt? Salman, you go first. Do you believe Sanjay Singh? Yeah. Do you believe Sanjay Singh faces allegations that you take seriously? And you believe prima facie for the Aam Aadmi Party to be guilty in the Delhi liquor scam?
Let me address Mr. Nambiar directly, because he basically asked me a question. And he said, why aren't Congress people agitating, and why aren't you doing something about corruption? My point is that if there are national agencies that are our agencies, that they belong to the people of India. They do not belong to BJP. When their investigations are totally one-sided, as we can see from the caseload, then you're basically putting the onus on us and not saying that there is something patently wrong.
But you haven't answered my question. You haven't answered my...
Sanjay Singh, to be quite honest with you, I have no idea. But I can put 1 and 1 together, or 2 and 2 together.
And
the Mr. Modi, Mr. Amit Shah, the BJP are facing an extremely serious challenge this time.
okay. So you sidestep the question.
They're basically, it's going to be a lot of political kind of vendetta. I can tell you that they think they can destroy the opposition alliance, the India alliance, by doing these kinds of things. I don't think it's going to happen. One quick thing, because that is something that's been on my mind when Shehzad was talking about Arnab and others. You know, Arnab is such a well-heeled character. He's going to get all sorts of support from the RSS and the BJP. But what about Fahad Shah from Kashmirwala? 2 years, he's been under an anti-terror law for an article that was published on his website by somebody else 10 years back. And then in Kashmir, there is no journalism. They finished it. They finished journalism in Kashmir. Barkha, you know it. And these are the people, and I'll tell you this, whatever happens in Kashmir, they want to do that in the rest of the country. We will not allow it. We will not allow it.
Let me try the same question. I couldn't get a direct answer from you. I'm going to see if I can get a direct answer from Shehzad Poonawalla. The Prime Minister himself lashed out at the corruption of the Nationalist Congress Party, the NCP. Do you believe Ajit Pawar, who is today in alliance with your party, to be a non-corrupt politician? Or do you believe the irrigation scam allegations are very serious?
Is not an issue of my belief. I believe some people sitting here are also perhaps indulging in corruption. Does it work on my belief? It works on the court, what the court finds. Your comparison should have been, is Lalu corrupt? Court has said 4 times, yes.
Lalu is convicted. Yes. Lalu is convicted. That's why I didn't ask the question.
One second, Barkha. Now ask the same question, is Lalu corrupt to Salman? He will give you the same long-winded answer. He will not give you a categorical answer. And Manish Sisodia is not in jail because Modi ji ne तय कर दिया उसको जेल में डालने के लिए. His court has rejected his bail plea. The CBI court has said, and I quote, he is the principal architect of the Sharab Ghotala and trails of 100 crore rupees have been received by him. Should I not go by what court says? As far as Ajit Pawar is concerned, because I am not somebody who will not give you a direct answer. As far as Ajit Pawar is concerned, if there is any allegation on any member of the NCP, whether with us or with them, and that scam, because Salman is accepting that scam has happened under the Congress government, nobody will be spared, but the court will decide who is guilty. And therefore, I say the court has pronounced Lalu guilty. Do you accept him as guilty? No. And Mr. Salman Source, instead of figuring out about journalism in Kashmir, you have issued a list of 14 journalists against whom you have put out a hit list or a fatwa, saying that these journalists are to be boycotted. I mean, stop giving these moral lectures on journalism. You are the product of emergency and censorship. Now let me come. Should I address the question on caste census?
Yes, please. Because to me, clearly the opposition attempt is to make that one issue transcend all other issues. So please go ahead. Why is the BJP opposing a national caste census? Yes, please.
BJP has not opposed it at all. Firstly, let me use your platform of the show. There are 2 instances where the BJP has kept its position officially. One is in the case of the caste survey in Bihar. By the way, it was our government which gave 500 crores. In the assembly, when it was brought up, we voted with the caste survey. The second instance is in the Supreme Court, when in an affidavit, we have not stopped or said no for any caste census. In fact, let me give you some facts which will open up your eyes completely and your viewers, Barkha, completely. Do you know that TMC, and I am reading out official statement of TMC. Please listen carefully, Barkha. TMC leader Saugata Roy told the Indian Express, our leader Mamata Banerjee has said already that we are opposed to caste census. The TMC is opposed to caste census. The first resolution which was to be coming of India Alliance, this is the Indian Express report, please see it. The first resolution they were going to pass was including caste census, but Mamata Didi put her foot down and they said no for it. Now tell us who's against caste census. 2, who's talking about this issue? In Odisha, Leader of opposition is from Congress. He has opposed Biju Janata Dal's move to have a caste survey there. 3. In Karnataka, 2013 to 2018, a caste survey was already done. Siddaramaiah has put it in cold storage. Where is it now? BK Hari Prasad is reminding him that lagu karo. 4. Just yesterday in an interview, yesterday or today in an interview to Aaj Tak, Punjab, Bhupesh Baghel was asked about this caste survey, etc. So he says very smilingly, मैंने तो पहले ही करा दिया है caste survey. So then Anjana asks him, caste survey करवा दिया तो उसका result जारी करो. He says नहीं करना है. And I have the video clip. I can play it for you because it's Aaj Tak.
No, that's fine. We take your word for it. Please carry on. Yeah.
Now last one and last 10 seconds. Only 10 seconds. Barkha, please see the history of my party and their party. Since BJP is born, Hindustan Times has done a study. You can put it out when you find it. 30.9% CMs of BJP have been OBC. The Congress had 17. Today they will cite 3 chief ministers. Apart from that, who has they made prime minister? We have made an OBC the prime minister, and our next prime minister is also an OBC. Can Salman Soch tell us whether their next prime ministerial candidate is going to be an OBC? And finally, let me give you one important fact. 1979 Mandal report comes. It was put forward by the Janata government. It comes in 1979, 1980. Indira ji rejects it, does not accept it. Rajiv ji rejects it, and when VP Singh government accepts it because with the support of BJP, at that time Rajiv ji in Lok Sabha on 6th of September 1990 has opposed Mandal Commission report. They are the ones who did not give constitutional status to OBC Commission. And they are the ones that his namesake Salman Khurshid said that out of the OBC quota of 27%, 4.5% should be given to Muslims, which is against constitutional scheme.
Can I ask you very briefly before I go to Rahul? Salman, I know you had your hand up, but Rahul, then Salman, and then PKD. You said the BJP has nowhere said that it opposes a caste census. Therefore, the opposition has demanded a national caste census. Would the BJP be in favor of this before the elections?
Barkha, even somebody who's a novice knows that now the elections in this country are due in 2024. Many of them think that it will be held earlier also. Is there an administrative mechanism to have an election, to have this census right now? By the way, the census is not conducted by government; it is conducted by the Registrar General. But that question should be put: if the Registrar General can get it done, they should go ahead and tell us. But having said that, let me ask you one question. When the Congress did the caste census in 2011 and they spent 5,000 crores on it, why did they not release the data till 2014? And do you know, when we came to power, we saw that data, there were 8.9 crore errors. And we sent those errors back to state governments like West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Bihar. Many of the Congress state governments have not rectified those errors. Why? क्यों मन में पाप है? कर्नाटका में रिलीज कर दो ना. छत्तीसगढ़ में रिलीज कर दो ना.
Let me bring in Rahul. Shehzad referred to some data on chief ministers, so we just pulled that out. BJP indeed has had the highest share of OBC chief ministers, while this number is lowest for the Congress, as reported by the Hindustan Times. So it's 30.9% in the BJP to 17.2% in the Congress. So I just wanted to put that figure out there. But obviously, there is some calculation with Rahul Gandhi coining a reasonably controversial phrase. I want to ask you about that phrase, Rahul, linking policy to population. Right? Once you say कि भाई जितनी आबादी उतना हक, this can be applied to many different areas. कल को delimitation में the southern states will be told कि or smaller states will be told आपकी आबादी कम है तो policy will be in a certain way. Tomorrow the religious minorities, this can be misapplied. Abhishek Singhvi tweeted against it, then deleted his tweet. I want you to come in, Rahul Dev.
You see, the Prime Minister has already started it. He has said in very recent speeches, he has accused the Congress of trying to harm the southern states because of this new caste survey. Right. He has also said, challenged or accused Congress of trying to divide the Hindu society through caste. So it has already started by no less than the Prime Minister himself. So this is going to go on. Rahul Gandhi, so far as concerned, Shehzad is right in his history. Rajiv Gandhi opposed it, and Rahul has said that was a mistake, and I'm now going to sort of correct it, and he is going full force ahead with caste-based and demands for caste survey. There are several problems in this whole thing. Firstly, I'm also deeply disturbed and worried about the net effect it will have on the society and on the nation in the long term, even in the short term and medium term. It may get some people somewhere electoral benefits, but we have to look at the overall holistic impact it will have on the Indian society in totality. I'm not very happy about it, but I don't think now it can be stopped. The cat is out of the bag. Nitish Kumar has taken a step which every chief minister now is going to be under pressure to come out with its own caste survey. There is also something, a fact that a state cannot hold any census. The right to hold a census, to organize a center, lies specifically with the center. States can have surveys of different kinds, but they are not empowered to hold censuses. We must make a distinction between these, and that's why we need one census and one methodology nationally accepted that comes out with these figures in the very near future, hopefully.
And you believe that the nature of politics is such that even the BJP might be under pressure now to nationally go ahead with this, perhaps not before 2024, but after.
Everyone knows, yes, there may be. There's going to be a growing demand, and Odisha has also declared that it's going to come out with its own survey. So even all the chief ministers who say that I have done it and we have the survey are going to be under pressure to make it public.
Yeah, Salman, are we playing with fire here? Are we playing with fire here? Because for the Congress's Rahul Gandhi to link policy with population, that's a slippery slope. That is really a slippery slope.
No, well, first of all, let's get to BJP's hypocrisy, because Shehzad's best friend, perhaps elder brother, favorite leader, the kind of representation they want to talk about is 80-20. That's what Yogi Adityanath talks about, the 80-20 politics of India. That's, I think, Shehzad's favorite leader these days. But as far as this issue is concerned, as far as I can tell, India, regardless of which part of the country you come from, caste is a reality. It's a social justice issue. This is not new. And by the way, all of us who wouldn't want a casteless society, right? In that sense, in terms of we all want equality of opportunity. That's what India is striving for. That is what the constitutional scheme would want us to do. But we're not there yet. We're not. And if we don't push the frontiers of social justice, India cannot be an inclusive.
But you're conflating, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're conflating the social oppression experienced by Dalits with all OBCs. And I don't think that's historically accurate.
No, but you see, backward classes, and there are so many shades of backward classes, right? So if there is no social justice aspect to it, then it would be something. But there is a social justice aspect to it. That's what we've been trying to do in this country, and that is what the BJP can say what it wants about. Whenever you ask Shehzad the question, he'll say, "Unhone ye kiya, they did this. You people are children of emergency," as if he was in the BJP throughout his life. It was only until recently, when he didn't get much from the Congress, he had to go to the BJP. The fact of the matter is that if BJP was serious, forget the caste census. Why didn't the BJP do a regular census? Why not? G20 countries, all of them have done censuses in their countries. Why can't India do it?
That is a fair question.
Okay,
and
so you don't want to do a caste survey? Fine, don't do a caste census. But do a regular census, at least tell us what's going on in this country. We have no idea. We are flying blind, and they've basically damaged the country so much. Now they will come up with excuses. Now 2024 election, all this is
okay.
They are not doing anything because they know that this is going to cause problems because people are suffering, Barkha. People are suffering.
Let me bring in.
We need to kind of help people out.
Firstly, this caste census is going to go before the Supreme Court, and I'm intrigued to see what it might do there. Before I give Shehzad a quick closing word, PKT, you must come in. You said you found this worrying. Rahul Dev agrees with you, but you must also agree that if there is a kind of competitive copycat exercise in states, and as Rahul said, the cat is out of the bag, all chief ministers will be under pressure now to do something similar or release the findings, how might it change the politics of 2024?
Stand for a long. The reason being, there are people, maybe like us, who will expose this whole idea of caste census and dividing my Hindu society once again. I don't know why Shehzad was just trying to find a few points from the history that yes, BJP always was in support or at least in alignment to all these stuff. I don't think so. RSS as an organization, almost 100 years, have been trying to put together a casteless society and working together to take every section of the society, whether it is a scheduled caste or a tribal or to a Brahmin or everybody together under as the Hindu. So I don't want, I am a Nambiar, does not mean that I am a Kshatriya, I am a royal guy. That does not mean that I have any special privileges. There are so many people in my clans do not have even they don't have even enough for their survival because they lost all of it during the communist government. So the idea is that I think 2023, and when Salman talks about that caste census, this is a reality, the caste is a reality. Caste is a reality. Why? 75 years later, we are still talking about caste. 75 years in the era of internet, in the era of the technology, we just wanted to divide my society once again back to the caste society. Casteless society was always
Can I allow Salman a brief interjection and then Shehzad has to close? Yeah, Salman, one sentence.
Just on this point, I think this is, quite frankly, this is unbelievable that you would make a point like this. In 75 years, things have changed and dramatically improved. If that was the case, then the impacts of slavery in America would be finished by now after hundreds of years. What are you talking about?
No, my 75 years ago, why have we not been able to see it? 55 to 68
5 years ruled this very short period.
Okay.
Can I
come in? Guys. You may feel a certain way, but others clearly do not feel the way you do. Fair enough. Let me put to Shehzad. Piketty said, why is Shehzad even talking about this instead of just saying that this is an attempt to stratify the Hindu vote? The point is, if for those of us who are old enough to remember this moment has come in politics before. When VP Singh tried to introduce the mandalization of politics, the BJP responded with Hindutva, but later generations of BJP leaders, especially OBCs among the party, said, Mandal bhi, Kamandal bhi. They embraced both. What is this BJP going to do? Shehzad, closing commentary.
He is right. We have created a new caste. It's not OBC caste, Brahmin caste, Thakur caste, Savarna caste, Pichda caste. We have created caste of Labharthi. And that Labharthi means that if you are poor and underprivileged, you will get a tap water connection. You will get a toilet, whether you are Salman or whether you are Siddharth. You will get a Pakka Awas, whether you are Muhammad or whether you are Muhid. 80 crore ration will be given to 80 crore people. This is the class that Prime Minister spoke about yesterday कि हम तो गरीबों की जाति को साथ में लेकर चले. अरे बाकी सब छोड़ो बरखा जी, हमने तो EWS category create की, meaning that even in the so-called forward caste, those who are poor, they also get the benefits of affirmative action. So this is the commitment of the BJP. I was merely trying to show that those who are coming like Ravan, wearing the chola of a sadhu, saying we are best friends of OBC, I was trying to distinguish that they are the worst enemies of the OBCs and who is the best friend of the OBCs. The OBC Samaj already knows. But having said that, you know, they are so sinister, these Congress people. And I want to just pull out one interview. I think you had done it. Even on issue of Nari, Shakti, Vandan, Adhiniyam, imagine women of this country, of this world strive together for their rights. Even in women, they want to divide. When they brought Panchayati Raj, there was no OBC category they kept. When they themselves in 2010 with our support passed the bill in Rajya Sabha, they did not have category. And at that time, look what Sonia ji was saying.
There are those who are asking about a minority quota and OBC quota. Do you feel the bill needs relooking, or is this bill in its final?
I mean, to those who ask such questions, I would say, who prevents you
from giving to Muslim women to OBC women.
And Abdul Bari Siddiqui said lipstick and bob cut wali mahila aa jayegi. That means they're trying to divide between urban and rural mahila. Look at this. Does Salman Khurshid even support the division of women for the sake of votes? How much will you divide? You divided this country. You divided it on language. You divided it on caste. You divided it on backward forward. You divided on everything. Even Thakur versus Brahman they're trying. Manoj Jha's statement attacking the Thakur Samaj is a calculated move to divide the so-called forward caste.
Since that was my interview you played from about 10, 12 years ago, Sonia Gandhi has clearly changed her position on that OBC quota. She completely was against it when the women's reservation bill passed in the Rajya Sabha. I think the final word is that this political card is in our midst right now. I think Rahul Dev is right. The cat is out of the bag. And even the RSS PKD, I was just looking at a statement of Mohan Bhagwat on September 5th. They have accepted in principle caste-based reservation. The question now is, how far are we going to go with it? Because the Supreme Court has to decide how far this idea that the 50% cap, the ceiling that the Supreme Court had set, does it stay in place? It's already shifted because of economically weaker sections. Politics is not going to be the same again if this goes ahead. And that's, I think, one thing we can agree on. Thank you very much, gentlemen, to Salman Sood, Shehzad Poonawalla, Rahul, David, PKD, Nambiar. Always a pleasure to have a civil, robust, engaged debate. And to our audience, thank you for watching. Take care. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo's Story and support independent, robust journalism.